Today, all that we're going to be talking about is meta ads, and we'll be going into a deep dive on everything there. But I thought that we could kind of start with just recent marketing and tech news today. So Max, I'm just curious, are you a ChatGPT kind of guy, or what's kind of your AI tool of choice?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First of all, hello, everyone. Happy to see everyone and again share all my knowledge and expertise. Yeah, I'm kind of using the ChatGPT on a daily basis, and I believe that uh, in the current age, with all of this, I mean, with all of these new updates,
Hmm.
artificial intelligence, and all of these tools, it's really hard to be a step ahead of all of the competition. So you have to use all these tools. So I would say
Hmm.
that the ChatGPT and other AI tools are kind of irreplaceable partners, and maybe I could say the full house employee for myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So ChatGPT 5 just was rolled out back in the beginning of August. And its whole thing has been, it's obviously faster, it's smarter than it was before. And like think the biggest thing that it's kind of touted out for with this new update was reducing the hallucinations.
Hmm.
And I've definitely seen an improvement there. It was always kind of painful to like read through some of what ChatGPT was spitting out, and I was just like, where'd you get that, dude?
Yeah.
um, are you seeing like any big changes with it? Are you liking the updates? Are there things that you want to see in the future from ChatGPT or OpenAI?
Yeah, with every new version of the ChatGPT, of course, it's becoming smarter and smarter. It can analyze the bigger data, more information at the same time. Frankly speaking, like from the beginning, when I updated from the ChatGPT 4 point something to 5,
Mm-hmm.
it screwed a little bit all my algorithms because I
Yeah.
educated the previous version, so I had to re-educate the ChatGPT. But now everything's good. It's working great. So everything is good. But again, we should remember that the ChatGPT, this is just our assistant, not the
Mm-hmm.
complete. So we shouldn't kind of copy and paste specifically exactly what the ChatGPT says.
Right.
I really like to add some authentic, so my personal touch there, every time when I, let's say, do the ad copy or I do some script or I ask them some questions and I need an answer. Sometimes even my clients ask the question, so I ask the chat GPT, uh,
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest, we all use the chat GPT for this, right? But still, I kind of proofread it. I add my uh, kind of my voice, how I would answer my words to make it
Mm-hmm.
more genuine, to make it more authentic.
Yeah, yeah, I agree completely. Like the updates are great, but you know, the your brand always needs a human voice regardless of anything. Also that's relatively new within the market is the Google VO3. Have you played around with that at all?
Yeah, I actually tried it for multiple clients. And at first, when they just released it, it was very cool. Like almost no one actually used it.
Mm-hmm.
So we started creating all these different video ads, and they were performing very great. Like the
Mm-hmm.
performance, the click-through rate, the conversion rate was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But during the time when everybody started, over the time when everybody started to kind of test and play around with this VO3, we started seeing all of these different ads around the internet created by the AI, and
Yep.
the performance started to go down for all of these ads because people started recognize that, okay, so this is the AI. I already know it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no a wow effect when you see the monkey talking to you or the child, cruising on
Yeah.
the airplane somewhere and selling you something. So I would say yes, we're still using the VO3, but in combination with other tools.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to make it stand out from all of these general AI generated ads, so it's very great if you, let's say, for the voice, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
currently the current version, at least the current version of the VO3, you can actually hear that this is the AI, and you can hear like the tone of the voice and everything. However, like the app like 11 Labs allows you to create more unique, more human-like
Hmm.
voice. So it's great. Let's say if you generate the video through the video tree, and then you just combine it with the voiceover that you generate from 11 Labs or any other similar AI voice generation generator. And this is kind of when you combine it, it looks more, I mean, it looks better. It looks more genuine. It looks not like as an AI. You still see that it's
Yeah.
AI, but it's not very, obvious.
Yeah. When it comes to the AI video stuff, I just think about like I think it was maybe a year ago, the video of Will Smith eating spaghetti,
Yeah.
and it was just like a monstrosity. And
Yeah.
then now though, it you can make videos just the same thing of like Will Smith eating spaghetti and it looks so real. Like it's really cool for, marketing obviously because this can be a cheaper option for people to test like ad variations, but it's also like scary because you're just like you can create anything now. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and I definitely think that they need to add some restrictions, and they're actually
Mhm.
working on this, and even the government is involved in all of this, so they can recognize if you're using AI, so you can replicate some person, to to use this person to sell your stuff or whatever.
Right.
So I really do believe that they need to add more restrictions. But yeah, I even heard that the Hollywood for the movie creation, they are starting to using it for some scenes. They are starting
Yeah.
using the AI because it's cheaper, it's quicker.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think like in maybe 1 year, 2 years, imagine if what we saw like a year or 2 year ago, it was like not realistic. Now it's
Yeah.
almost realistic. What's going to happen in like 1 to 2 years? So
Yeah,
probably
you
you won't
won't be able
recognize the
to
difference.
discern it. You won't be able to tell if it's AI or real. Like that's just the way that it's going.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, which kind of, will segue into our main topic is Meta's Advantage Plus updates. So, I mean, for anybody who's not kind of aware of like Meta, they have AI integrated within their ad platform, and it's called Advantage Plus, and so it can help with, finding more targeted audiences. It helps with the creative stuff is crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of the same kind of thing. A couple of months ago, it was not that great, and now it's pretty insane. So you can upload a image and it'll just completely rework it, and it'll do like different text, a different main image, it'll adjust the background. You can obviously like tweak it however you want,
Yeah.
but that like is so it's such a game changer for especially doing A/B testing. Like instead of going in and redoing things over and over again, you can really just do it all from one place, which is awesome. Have
Yeah.
you been playing around with that, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're running Meta, so we're constantly uh, using all of these tools. So
Mm-hmm.
regarding the Advantage Plus, definitely, even if you compare like 2, 3 months ago, I can see the progress. I can see it how the algorithm is becoming so smarter and smarter. And before, I mean, not maybe 3 months ago, but like 6 months ago, I wouldn't start the new campaign in the new ads manager
Mm-hmm.
with the Advantage Plus. Probably I
Mm-hmm.
would educate the algorithm, to show them the examples of the good customers. But now, in combination, of course, with the detailed targeting campaigns, I do
Mm-hmm.
launch the Advantage Plus with the broad open targeting, just allowing the Meta do its magic, and try
Yeah.
to find the right ideal client for the business. Uh,
Yeah.
it's still not perfect, so it works for some businesses, like more commodity businesses, yes, more
Mm-hmm.
uh, niche businesses, like when it's, I don't know, when it's, let's say, the software for logistic for specific company size, it's still like having some troubles to find the right audience. But yeah, it's a great tool. The Meta now have like billion data points, and all of this data is integrated with the AI, so just making the advertising even better. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's easier for us, but it's just more targeted now. So it's great
Mm-hmm.
for the businesses, to it's easier to get the first results rather than when it was before, when you have to tweak all of the things manually and
Yeah.
do so many tests. So yeah, now
Yeah.
now it's quicker to get the first results.
Yeah. I think overall, just with everything that we just kind of talked about is AI is awesome and it definitely helps, but double check your work with it. It's not perfect. It's not there yet. It probably will be in, even just a year from now, it'll be a completely different ball game. Um, but yeah, I think that's a great segue into our main topic, which just is all about meta ads.
Yeah.
So I thought we could kind of start off the conversation. I think that sometimes when people think about advertising on Meta, they think of boosting. And I think that there's obviously a conversation to be had there of there's a very different realm. Boosting is not the same as actually running targeted ad campaigns within their ad manager.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody who owns a business Facebook page, what boosting is because every time that you post something, it just slams it in your face. Like, do you want to boost this? Do you want to boost
Yeah.
this? And I think that it does get the bad rap of just like wasting money on likes. But there's still a strategy in there. So I thought we could kind of start off with like when can boosting be strategic for businesses?
hmm Yeah, sure. So the only scenario where we recommend the boosting if you're very, very limited on the budget and
Hmm.
you're not able to hire the professional who can set up the campaign with all this manual work combined with AI and all of these tools. Probably the good solution for this kind of start is to boost the post.
Hmm.
And I had a lot of clients who started with boosting the post. Majority of them are just complaining because they're not able to see the actual result. They can see the clicks, right? They can see cheap
Hmm.
clicks. And at first they're thinking, oh, I just generated like 1,000 clicks. But these clicks were not converted to the sale. They were not converted to the submitted application. And the whole point of
Yeah.
advertising is to bring the client to buy the product or submit the application or sign up for something, right? So that's why my answer will be it's good to start, but eventually I highly, highly recommend to try more advanced options with the ads manager where you have so many different tools that allows to set up ads professionally.
Yeah. One of the strategies that we do here at Ellington is I agree. I mean, the boosting is more for what I would say is like brand awareness or, you know, helping your good, like your well performing posts do even better. So one
Yeah.
of the strategies that we do, for example, is, we'll create a social media schedule. We'll post for a full week, and then the next week we'll go and look at how those posts performed, and then we'll go in and do a small budget of boosting on the best performing posts just to get it out there. There's no need to waste money on the things that aren't producing
Yeah,
results,
exactly.
but
Brand
if
awareness. Yeah.
yeah, if you're performing well on a post, throw a couple of bucks at it and get it in front of more audiences. Um, you know, what's the difference between like boosting posts versus the ads manager?
Mhm. So I would say the boosting post is just kind of more simple version to start running ads. Because when you
Hmm.
put the post, first of all, it has to be the post that you already have inside of your Instagram profile, right, or the Facebook profile. So you're not able to upload a completely new videos or carousel or different variations to test multiple to A/B test different variation of this. It just has to be simply your post that you already published. So this
Hmm.
is the first constraint, you're very, very limited. When you set up the actual targeting, you're also limited on the actual, so you're not able to optimize for specific events, like for submitted application on the website or for the specific sale for this product. You can just select the general th- either your the brand awareness or the traffic campaign or the clicks.
Hmm.
So, but versus the Facebook Ads Manager, you can select manually. Like there is so many, you can optimize for a specific submitted application for this specific page. So you want to have more
Hmm.
people to submit here. And also regarding the interest. So with the boosting post, yes, you can select the interest, you can select the gender, you can select the age, more basic stuff. But for the interest, there you're very, very limited. Versus
Hmm.
with Ads Manager, you have like thousands of different interests and you can combine, mix and match them. You can exclude certain people. include narrow down the audience. Let's say if you want to show specifically, I don't know, for this kind of interest, I don't know, for restaurants, and inside of restaurants, you only want to show to the CEO of the restaurants and the CEOs of the restaurants who actually travel frequently. So you can do this only with the ads manager. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's
Yeah.
why uh, there is nothing wrong with the boosting post, more for the brand awareness to just to showcase your product or whatever. But if you really want, since I'm more kind of performance marketer, right? You target it for the end result. And for me, for majority of my clients, it is either the sale or submitted application. So we're trying to generate the ROI from every click,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's why the ads manager, this is the go-to. Um,
Hmm.
if you want the
Yeah.
detailed setup.
It it kind of all starts with like your what your objective is for running ads.
Yeah, yeah,
So can you kind of break it down for me? What's your best practice when if someone's their goal is more conversions, more leads, what's kind of your best practice to set up a new meta ad campaign for that specific goal?
yeah. All of my campaigns, the objective for the campaigns are either the lead generation or the sales. I'm
Hmm.
not using any engagement or visibility or anything, just simply because all of my clients they're not looking for just more eyeballs
Yeah.
just to see the product. They're looking for the final result. They're expecting the sale. And
Hmm.
so if I'm going to launch, and I, by the way, I did so many different tests launching the different strategies. Let's say launching the awareness campaign, trying to generate sales, and almost every time it just failed because again, algorithm of the Facebook algorithm is also very smart. So when you're pointing saying, hey, I want this to be optimized for sales, so it started to showing your ad to people who are actually already showed in their history somewhere with Facebook or in the internet, they made
Hmm.
purchases through Facebook, that they already filled out the forms. So that's why you have the higher chance that they will opt in and your ad will resonate and they will purchase or they will submit the application.
Hmm.
Versus when it's brand awareness, it's just showing to people who are, sitting in social medias and Facebook and Instagram and just scrolling the news feed. Yeah, some of them might convert, but this is very, very low percent.
Right.
However, I
Okay.
heard that a lot of the large brands, like who has millions of dollars, 10 million, dozens of million dollars, they're actually using the brand awareness because their
Hmm.
audience is very, very limited. So they
Hmm.
already, let me correct myself. So they're using the awareness campaigns, the traffic campaigns in the combination with the lead generation and sales. Because for the
Right.
lead generation and sales, there's limited amount of people who are in the stage. If you remember from our previous podcast, who are in the stage ready to purchase, ready to buy. And majority of people they're not aware about the problem or about the product. And so this is where they use these traffic campaigns because they're cheaper to generate clicks, to generate these eyeballs, and then
Hmm.
they convert this awareness to the lead campaign. So they use it kind of the funnel approach inside of the ads manager.
Yeah. But I don't think that that would be for most businesses, I don't think that that's a practice that'll make total
Yeah,
sense. I mean, I think engagement campaigns do make sense to if you're a brand new startup company and you don't have any followers or any likes or
yeah.
anything like that, it makes total sense to run an engagement campaign to just build that brand awareness. Um, but yeah, for most people, choosing lead generation or conversions as your main target goal is more valuable for your ROI.
Okay, and let me share with you guys like how it actually looks like. So when you just start the new campaign, the Facebook allows you to select this different variations of objectives, right? The campaign objective. So my recommendations for majority of the clients, for the majority of the small businesses or medium-sized businesses, are select in between the leads and sales. So
Hmm.
if you're looking for getting submitted applications, so let's say if you're closing someone for the free estimate for the consultation, so you should better select the leads because this is where you optimize for the form submission or the website submission. If you're
Hmm.
actually selling some physical product and we can track and we can set up the tracking to track the sales, so you should select the sales objective. Yeah.
Kind of we kind of talked a little bit about targeting there for a second. So, um, where do you kind of start with targeting? Like, what are your best practices?
Do you mean the campaign type?
Mm,
Or like
like
the interest?
for your actual audience.
So typically, it really depends on the client whether they already have the established account when they
Hmm.
have some history running ads, or if this is the new account. Because if they already typically if they already have some clients, if they already have some business, the easiest way for us to find similar people is to launch the lookalike audience, right? Lookalike campaigns where we, again, this is the lead generation, the sales campaigns with the sales objective, where we upload the list of people who are already purchased. So we're saying Facebook or Instagram, hey, this is our ideal client profile. Please find me similar people. So
Hmm.
typically, this is one of the strategies that we start if we have this list. The second strategy, of course, this is the interest. And to start with, it really depends on the budget, because if you have more budget, we test more things from the beginning. But if you're limited in the budget, we just launch the general campaign with the main interest categories
Hmm.
without very niched breakdown. Because again, first we don't want to limit the Facebook, especially with all these AI algorithms from the beginning if you're limited on the budget. So we're just allowing the Facebook to do its work, to do its magic, and find us the right people by showing who is the right person for us to
Hmm.
who's our ideal client. And of
You,
course, the retargeting campaigns, if again, if this is the established account, we add the retargeting campaigns to make sure that the people who saw our ad, but for some reason they're not converted, we are chasing them with different ad variations, showing them the social proof, the reviews, maybe even giving them some special offer, maybe some little discount or free buy one, get, I don't know, 20% off for the next one or something, just to make them convert.
hmm. I was curious. So if you're using a like a customer list to retarget, are you using the Advantage Plus retargeting to pull in new audiences even with the customer list?
Yes. If this is the lookalike, if this is not retargeting campaigns,
Hmm.
we are using the Advantage Plus. If this is the solely retarget campaigns, we're not using Advantage Plus, because if we will check this mark Advantage Plus, and we use the retarget, it means that it will start finding new people, not
Right.
necessarily ones who already saw your ad, but similar people. And
Hmm.
the whole strategy with the retargeting is to show to the people who already saw your ad, who already interacted with your website, with your social media, because they already had, I don't know, one, two, three touch points, and maybe they need
Yeah.
like two more in order to convert. And this is the whole
Yeah.
point of retargeting. But for the sales campaigns, the interest campaigns, the lookalike campaigns, yes, we definitely started using the Advantage Plus, because it just helps. Why not to use the AI, all this power to generate more qualified leads? And so regarding the Advantage Plus, let me actually show you the different variations uh, that you have and you can use on this sample account. So basically, when you start, you will see that right now the Facebook mainly they push for the Advantage Plus from the beginning, and probably this is your go-to option if you don't have too much knowledge, because typically the expert this switch to the original audience options, because it allows us to have more flexibility, in terms of what kind of audience, to narrow down the audience, to remove the certain suggestions that certain audiences where we don't want to show our ads to. But if you just start, the Advantage Plus, this is a good thing. But please keep in mind that when you add the audiences here, uh, this is not the hard boundaries. With
Hmm.
Advantage Plus, when you add the new targeting, when you add the new options, this is just the recommendations for Facebook. Let's say in this case, this is the yacht sale company, right? So in this case, we just give the recommendation. Okay, so we want to target people who are interested in general yacht watercraft category, right? But the Facebook can start showing your ad to different categories as well if Facebook believes that this is the best audience to show your ad to. However,
Hmm.
if you switch to the original and you see they're kind of protecting you from that, because this is more advanced option with more features. But typically we use the more details. So in this case, you can include and define further the audience. So let's say if you want to show to people who are in yacht watercraft, but at the same time they're frequently traveling, and at the same time uh, their household income, let's do like that,
Mhm.
is top 5%. So we're trying to target the wealthy people, right, who are interested in yachts, who are traveling a lot. Probably they're the CEOs of the companies or the owners, and they're living in the top 5% of household zip codes. So this is the actually what Facebook allows you to do when you are when you are manually trying to target all, people who you want to target to. And of course, you're not able to select so many different options uh, with the boosting post
Mhm.
if you're inside of Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
With this as well, so would you say that like when you have the Advantage Plus on, it's more of using what you're giving it as a suggestion, whereas when you have it off, those are kind of like the hard boundary rules that it's going to try and stick within?
yes, yes. So if it's Advantage Plus, this is just the recommendation.
Mhm.
But when it's the manual campaign, this is where you uh, this is where you kind of put a little more hard boundaries. But lately, I see that for some of the ads manager, Facebook actually started to removing the ability to turn
Turn it
off
off.
the
Yeah.
Advantage Plus.
Yeah.
So that's why probably in a couple months we will see that all of the campaigns will be with Advantage Plus. But again,
Mhm.
there is nothing wrong as long as you can show the Facebook more detailed audience that you
Yeah.
want to target.
Yeah.
Uh, yep.
Yeah. Do you start with a lookalike audience from the very beginning for campaigns like that?
If we have the good list of amount of clients. So the Facebook says that it's enough for them to have at least like 100 people, identified people who match the profile inside of Facebook
Mhm.
to use it for lookalike audience. But I prefer, and I typically tell my customers that it's better to start. We have at least like 500 to 1,000 just to have more data to Facebook. Because again, this is the algorithm. So the more data you feed to algorithm, the more correct data. So the quicker you will get the right results.
So, what do you suggest for people who don't have a list at all? Like, do you have like any kind of tips? Like, for example, we have a client who gave us a list of like 50 locations, and they were
Yep.
like, we want to target all of these locations. And then when I started plugging them in, I was like, these are all within like 10 miles of each other. We could just do one location in like a 50-mile radius, and
Yeah.
it'll cover the majority, or if not all of them, in this one area. So, what's kind of your best practice there with like finding locations and interests and demographics and all of that?
Yeah. Again, like for the last year, probably my first start before I even do any kind of research, I just go to the chat GPT and
Hmm.
ask the question. I just uploading as many information as possible. Like
Yeah.
this is my client, this is their ideal client profile, this is what they're selling, this is their price. Please give me some recommendations, what you're suggesting for us, who we should target. So,
Hmm.
and of course, I take it with a grain of salt, just for my information.
Yeah.
After that, I started doing the research for the market. But to make the story short, so if we don't have any list, like we don't have anything, we just start with interest. Because
Hmm.
again, even by the right combination of interest targeting, we can still show the ad to the right person. The
Hmm.
lookalike, this is just the type of to narrow it down, but with interest, like I said, we can narrow down the owner of this business or people who live in this area with this demographic, with this income level, with this. So there are so many different settings that we can use to show to the right person. So that's why before we start any advertising, we do the kind of we lay out the ideal client profile to
Hmm.
understand like who's our ideal clients. So we can now, based on that, think, okay, so what is the interest, what they might be interested in, where do they spend their time, like what are their habits. However, there are also other strategies that you can use, let's say, and mainly it works for the B2B businesses, but you can actually find a list of companies who are I don't know, this is B2B, and let's say if you're targeting logistics, right? You're targeting logistic providers, you can just find a list of logistic providers and use this list as the lookalike, because this is
Hmm.
specifically people who are in this industry. It's not going to be very accurate because, again, you're taking this information from the internet, right? So it probably is not going to be the decision makers when you take these emails or the phone numbers, but still, it's some information, some data to start with if you don't have anything like at all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all great. So that kind of goes over like the targeting for a campaign. We kind of talked about the objective of a campaign. So I think, the next kind of step when you're going through would be that creative process, right? So using copy and visuals to actually attract in your ideal people and then also repel the wrong ones that you don't want. Um, so I was hoping that maybe Max, you could kind of show us the ad library as a resource. And then for those of you who weren't able to join our last podcast, we dove into the ads library and we showed a couple of samples of really well performing ads. And this is a great resource for you to look at what your competitors are doing and kind of see how you can do what they're doing better. Um, yeah, so if you could show us that and then just maybe show us how to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
around.
sure, absolutely. And actually, the ads library, this is also one of the tools that we shared in the last podcast, as you mentioned, that I always use. Like before starting any ads, I'm kind of checking all of the competition to see what they're doing, and I'm gonna share now the strategy that I use to kind of identify the ads that are probably performing better than others based on the data. So, do you have any industry in mind that you want to? And by the way, yeah, so this is the ad library, so you guys can access it if you have the Facebook account, so you don't need any specific credentials or purchase
Mhm.
any subscription. So, do you have any category industry in mind that you want us to check?
Let's just check out like plumbing.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so we can actually search here by the competition, and this is what I typically do. So I first on the onboarding call with the client, right? We ask who's your main competitors, and when they tell us who are their main competitors, so we actually start checking like what they're doing in terms of advertising.
Mhm.
Other advertising for the plumbers, probably the largest companies are Mr. Uder Plumbing, right? Or maybe some of the local, but we can start with the Mr. Uder Plumbing, right, as an example. Uh, so here we can see all of their ads that they're running, all of their descriptions to see whether they are trying to convert them through the phone call or through the submitted application. And by the way, guys, you see little extra elements here because I have the widget that I use. I'm gonna show it later also. That helps me in the search process. But basically, yeah, you can just see all of these different ads. And so the way how you should filter them out, let's say if you are not specifically looking for the specific company, right? We're just looking for the plumbing service to see any company who's advertising online. So the my go-to strategy. So first thing, I make sure that if you can see here the filter, I'm making sure that I check in only the active ads. And on top of that, I'm also filtering by not the recent active ads, but the ads that are active, let's say, for at least a month or for at least for 2 weeks. So how does it help me? It means that let's say if the plumbing company is running ads, this specific ad for at least 1 month, it means that this probably is profitable for them because they also have the marketing agency that they're analyzing numbers and so at least we can filter out the ones that are not active. In case if your industry you don't see too many different ads, in this case, yes, you can review also the post ads. just so you just get a better idea. But in our case, the plumbing services are very, very popular. So you can see all these different ads. Somebody's running the static images, right? Somebody's running the probably ads with the I think the partner with the owner or some promotions, the carousel ad. And so what do
Mhm.
you do? You just literally analyze all of these ads. What I do as an example, right? So right here, so the first company, right? The first ad here. So they're running ad. They started running this ad from August 1st and it's still active. It's active for 41 days, which means that probably if they're spending money on this ad, so generating them some leads. So what I do next, I check like their description. Sometimes if you don't have this tool that I have, I mean, with this tool, I can save it and I can save it to the customer folder. So just make it easier for me to later to come back to these ads and analyze them. But if needed, you can just create literally like the Google Docs file and you can just copy example ads. And what I do next, I make sure that I also so you need the tool to be able to download the actual video because sometimes it might disappear. So that's why this is where I use this tool, Ads Library. It just
Mhm.
helps me to save all of these different creatives by different folders. And again, this is not the advertising. You can use any other tool. This is just I'm just sharing what I use. Um, and then yeah, I just check where they land the client. Do they land them on the main page? Do they land them on the free estimate page? Just analyzing what they're doing. Like in this case, they have pretty good website, right? But they land it on the main page. I mean, I don't like
Mhm.
to do that. I like to, if I advertise some specific service, I like to land them to the specific service page or the free estimate page so we can eliminate all these unnecessary steps before they submit the application. And
Mhm.
and that's it. So basically, you just analyze it, you save them, and after that, you can use this information to come up with your own ads or to give, let's say, if you're using the designer, you can provide these ads or to the video editor or to your marketing agency or whatever. You just provide this information and to get some ideas to start with.
Mhm.
And then, of course, once you have these ideas, once you start testing, you kind of pinpoint what actually works for you because this might work for I don't know for the Maryland right location, but it might not be working, let's say, in the Chicago area or
Yeah.
somewhere in the San Francisco area. So that's
Mhm.
why it's all done by testing.
So that tool that you showed, the ads library, when you save an ad to it, does it like expire or does it just kind of save a copy of that in your folder?
Yeah, so without this tool, I can show you. So without this tool, you won't see the save buttons.
Mhm.
It will be just pretty much the same, but without save. So you won't be
Yeah.
able to save it. So the only way for you to save in this case will be just to uh,
Like
either
copy paste.
either find it in their profile or just download the photo from here. But again, since I'm working Facebook on a daily basis, I just have this tool that helps me just to save them, to download them,
Yeah.
so I can easier find them later
That's
or
cool.
use them.
Yeah. That's awesome. I like that tool a lot. That's really sick. Um, yeah, so the ads library is super awesome and it's a great resource for you guys to use when you're building out ads, just to kind of see what your competition is doing. Um, yeah, so Max, I was thinking that next we could kind of go over reporting. So, when you're looking at a campaign, what kind of dictates that you're seeing that it's successful versus it needs tweaking? Like, when do you kind of make that decision to adjust?
Yeah, so the first step, what I do, first of all, I kind of before we even launch any ads, we set some KPI, right? So let's say, what is the appropriate cost per lead for us? How much are we able to pay for one submitted application for sale? because this will be the main target for me, right? Because obviously when you start and if this is the new account and the campaign, probably at first you will see that the results are not so great or not so like accurate, let's say for the first couple of days. But then once the system optimize, you can get better results. So to answer your question, the main I break down the parameters, the analytics by primary and the secondary. So the primary for me, this is the cost per sale, the amount of sales, if we have access to the customer, kind of the revenue and sales from each customer that we generate. We also maybe add the return on ad spend or return on investment. So these are primary data that I analyze before I check anything else. Let's say if we still don't have enough data here, of course, I start analyzing the secondary metrics. And the secondary metrics are mainly the amount of clicks, the cost per click, the CTR. If this is the video, this is the hold rate, the view-through rate, how many people actually watch your video for 50 seconds,
Hmm.
and so on. The amount of impressions, the cost per impression. So this is the secondary metrics that allows me to analyze even before we see the sale or we see the application, whether this ad showing some signs that it might be profitable, or maybe it makes sense just deposit without
Yeah.
waiting, spending extra bucks on this specific ad.
Yeah. How long do you suggest people keep a campaign running for? And then, obviously, if it's performing well, do you suggest just keeping it on for as long as possible, or what's kind of your insight there?
Uh, I mean, it really depends on the situation and on the customer budget and so on. But let's take multiple scenarios, right? The first scenario where you running the ads and you start generating the good results. So obviously there is no reason to turn them off, right? If it's generating the good results for you. So the only thing that we need to optimize the ads. So once we start seeing the sales, now we can start breaking this down. Okay, so we generated this sale. In general, we see that we generated sale, let's say for $100, right? $450, whatever. Then we see, okay, let's see the breakdown. Which specific placement generated for us this sale, whether it was the Facebook feed or the Facebook story or Instagram reel or something. Because there you will see that the actual sale amount was, I mean, the cost per sale was cheaper for this specific because you also spent for other placements. Then we
Mhm.
started to see the breakdown. Okay, so what is the gender? Was it the male, female? Actual generating was cheaper sales. Then we start seeing like the age. What is the age category? Whether the people, let's say from 18 to 24 generate sales, or solely people from like 35 to 45 are the best who generating the sales. So we accumulate this data, and of course, we use it to optimize the campaigns. Uh, uh, in the second case scenario, where you started running the ads and you for some reason you're not seeing the results, right? You just have to, and this is if we go back to the first thing that I mentioned. So you start analyzing how much you can afford to pay for one client. And my rule of thumb. So if we launch the some hypothesis for the ad, and let's say the cost per submitted application that we can afford is $100. So I ran this campaign for 200 or $250 again from the beginning, because we need the system allows some time to optimize, because maybe if we turn it off, let's say in $101, but maybe in $103 we'll generate the sale, and the next sale will be in
Mhm.
150, and it will split and it will be like the cost per sale will be only like $75.
Yeah.
So that's why I typically it's like multiplied for 2 or 2.5, allowing it to run for some time. And
Hmm.
of course, it's better when you have extra budget, specifically from the beginning when you do the initial test, because and if this is the new account, you need more time for test because you're testing simultaneously. You're testing the different ad creatives, the different campaign types. You're testing the different strategies, and you need budget for all of this test.
Yeah.
So that's why you just to manage the expectations, I always tell my clients, so expect that from the beginning you'll spend a little more, but with all these
Hmm.
optimizations, once we see the results, gradually we'll start getting better in results, and typically we exceed the expectations in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's great too because whatever you get out of that first ad, you kind of can take into your next campaign and know how to optimize it from the beginning, and then it just keeps getting better and better and better as
Yeah.
you go on. Um, awesome. So, are there any other tips that you kind of want to share with meta ads? Is there anything that we didn't cover that you kind of want to make sure gets covered?
Uh, Yeah, before you start running any ads, make sure that you set up the analytics. Because
Mm-hmm.
the inside of Facebook ads, there is an event manager. So make sure that you install the pixel on your website, because the pixel will allow for the system to optimize. When somebody visits your website, the system triggers, the pixel triggers, okay, so are people who are interested. When somebody submit the application, okay, so these are people who are actually leaving the request, they're submitting or buying. The people who are not leaving the request, the Facebook pixel and all this analytics allows you to retarget them. So my suggestion for you, for anyone who starts running ads, to make sure that you set up the analytics before you actually hit this launch button, because without that, probably you won't be getting uh, the best results possible, and
Yeah.
you need this data to analyze. Without data, marketing is nothing.
Yeah. Kind of to add to that is, you know, you can do meta ads on your own, but if you're also looking for assistance, then Ellington Digital is a great resource for you. We would love to also set up even just a free consultation to look over what you're currently doing, and we can kind of give you some tips and tricks. Um, just to kind of plug that as well. It's just, if you need help, there is support out there. Even Facebook does have some like meta ads experts that you can even have calls with, and they can walk you through, what your campaign is currently performing at, and they can kind of help you optimize it. But I mean, overall, like I think meta ads are, they kind of get the rep of doing quantity over quality, but if you really dial it in, you can get really good quality leads out of meta. Um, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Max. I really appreciate your time today. It's always so fun to kind of just really geek out over all of this stuff. Yeah, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, happy to share. And to sum up again, as you mentioned, uh, let the experts do their work while you focus on what you do the best. And as a business
Hmm.
owner, probably you guys have so many different things to do and to focus on. So leave the marketing, leave the performance to us, because we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening, and be sure to join us next month where, we talk more about real strategies for better leads for a healthier business. Bye.
Great. Bye bye.